What's up guys, it's Clifftongasium, and I'm here to narrate this awesome OU battle I have to show you here. This isn't my battle, I mean, come on. This is a battle between Puberty and alias4. This is rain versus sand. I'm gonna have a look at the team previews now. We got Puberty has Politoed, Zoomerel. You know, Zoomerel in the rain with the stab waterfall and aquajet. That's going to start. That destroys stuff, even in OU. And then you have Tornadus, Rotom Wash, Ferrothorn, and Latios. You know, Ferrothorn is your defensive wall. Rotom Wash, you could run Rotom Wash. That could be a specially defensive Rotom Wash by looking at his team. Or the Politoed will probably be specially defensive because that's more common. And then you have your Latios. So Puberty has quite a specially attacking team. And now we're going to have a look at Alias's team. Alias has the T-Tar, he has a Mew, a Terrakion, Starmie, Lucario, and Volcarona. And in this, I mean, looking at the two teams, Alias here with the Mew, I mean, you never know what kind of set a Mew is going to be running. It could be running like, I don't know, a standard taunt set. Or it could be running anything under the sun. I mean, Mew is a scary poke to come up against in any tier. I mean, it works in Ubers as well. The Terrakion, that could be banded or scarfed. You can't really like tell, but looking at the rest of the team, I would guess that the Terrakion is probably going to be scarfed, and the Lucario is probably going to be banded. At least that's how I would run it if I had these three pokes. Starmie is kind of like counter rain for Alias. It's gonna help him a lot if he can predict them Politoed switch-ins or start predicting some Scalds and stuff like that. And the Volcarona, if he can get the Volcarona in and get the Volcarona set up, and if Azumarill and Politoed are dead, then Puberty doesn't really have much he can do to it, because Volcarona, once it's set up, it is an amazing poke. It's really hard to stop. So we're going to get straight into this now, and Alias is going to lead with his Tyranitar. Puberty is obviously going to lead with the Politoed. He's going to try and Toxic the Tyranitar on the first turn, just to start getting some damage on it. And Alias is going to get his rocks up. You know, entry hazard's always good. Now Alias is going to predict this Scald here and go into his Starmie. Unluckily for him, he does get the burn on it, but Starmie has that big natural cure, so he's not really going to be worried about that all too much. Puberty's going to protect just to see if the Starmie is packing the Thunderbolt, and he is packing the Thunderbolt. He's probably packing the Bolt Beam, so Puberty's not going to want to stay around. But Alias makes a good prediction here and goes into his Volcarona when he knows Puberty is going to go into his Ferrothorn, predicting him to attack again. So now the Ferrothorn is not going to stick around because the Fiery Dance will kill it. Alias makes another good play here and knows the Politoed is going to come straight back out. The rain's going to come up and he's just going to Bug Buzz. And the Bug Buzz is going to do a lot of damage. I mean, it's going to be a 3-hit KO because of leftovers, and he's not going to want to stay around and go straight back. Well, he's going to go out into his Tyranitar here, and looking at the amount of damage that does with a crit, this Tyranitar is probably specially defensive. So Alias isn't that worried. He has got his Sand back up, and he's going to go into Starmie, predicting another Scald or Toxic, and the Toxic does come up. Alias isn't probably going to be worried about this because Starmie having natural cure, and here he can just go for the Thunderbolt again. Obviously Puberty's not going to want to let his Politoed die, because then he's lost the Weather War on turn 8, and then that will be the game for him. They're both going to switch out here, but Alias is, in my opinion, going to make the better play, and he's going to go into his Mew. Puberty's going to go into his Ferrothorn, and now Alias can scare this thing away, but obviously Puberty knows that even a Fire Blast from here probably won't kill, but it is a taunt set in Mewtwo, and he does predict the Leech Seed to come, and pretty much shuts the Ferrothorn down because it can't do anything to Mew now. So he's going to go out into his Rotom Wash, because Rotom can take anything that Mew wants to do, but he does get Will-O-Wisped. So this is Taunt Will-O-Wisp Mew, and the Rotom here is going to just Volt Switch out, and he will Volt Switch into his Politoed just to get rid of the Sandstorm and get the rain back up. just so that the weather is in his advantage, and Alias is going to Will-O-Wisp him again. Now, Puberty is, he's got a few things burnt now, and if he just keeps letting this Mew burn everything, then Alias is going to start doing stuff to this team. But he does predict the Psychic very well and goes into Latios, but the Mew gets a crit, and Alias is getting all of these crits. And here the Latios does an amazing play and tricks the Choice Scarf and locks Mew into soft-boiled. So now this Latios is free to do whatever it wants, and it has leftovers, and in the rain it's just going to Thunder, and he gets the Para Hacks, but Mew has the Synchronize, and it's going to come back to bite Latios in the arse. Now the Tyranitar comes up and gets the Sand back, but Puberty's not going to stick around with a paralysed Latios, and he's going to switch as well into his Azumarill. Tyranitar does not want to stay in on Azumarill, and he's just going to go into his Mew, and Mew is going to get Waterfalled heavily. Now, Mew is probably going to die to an Aqua Jet this turn, but because it's banded Azumarill, he's locked in. Well, it's banded or scarfed. It probably banded. It's more likely to be banded. Yeah, it's definitely banded because he switched out on the Terrakion. He got the rain up. He's going to have to sack his Politoed here, because the Politoed is not going to survive a hit from Terrakion, banded or scarfed. So now Alias has the Weather War, but Puberty has the rain up and is going to go into a Azumarill in the rain. Tyranitar comes in, is going to take an Aqua Jet, but he doesn't die. He stays alive at 2% HP, but Alias doesn't need his Tyranitar anymore, and he's just going to sack it, and Azumarill's going to take more damage from the Sandstorm, and Starmie's going to come in, should easily be able to live an Aqua Jet and just Thunderbolt, but Puberty predicts that nicely and goes into his Theraphorn. So now Puberty has lost the Weather War, he has got the Theraphorn, and he's probably going to Leech Seed this turn. The Starmie's not going to want to stay around in case the Power Whip comes in, but he does make a good play and go into the Terrakion, which can kill the Theraphorn with a close combat. But Puberty is going to just protect up, just do some more damage to the Terrakion. The Terrakion's going to switch out and go into the Starmie, but the Theraphorn goes for the big Power Whip, and I don't know if that was prediction or just luck, but the Starmie goes down. He's going to protect again to see what the Terrakion wants to go for. He goes for the close combat again, and that was an amazing power play right there, but the close combat comes off the second time and kills him. So I don't know if he was trying to sack his Theraphorn or predicted the Starmie to come in, but it was an amazing play. The Azumarill's going to come in here, and the Aqua Jet's going to do a lot of damage and kill the Terrakion. And now it's down to 4-2 in Puberty's favour. He's lost the Weather War, but he hasn't lost the battle yet. The Lucario comes in for the first time, and it is a physical set, so this is probably banded because he's packing... Oh no, it's Life Orbed. But he's packing the E-Speed, so he can do a lot of damage to anything on this team, Life Orbed. But the Rotom misses the Hydro Pump and gets close combated and goes down. Now this Lucario here has the potential to do shit to this team now the Rotom's down. The Tornadus is the only thing that can really live a hit. And I don't know if the Tornadus Hurricane is going to miss because he's not in the rain. And this is looking more and more like Alias's battle. Puberty played so well, but the Latios is paralysed because he got the Synchronize on the Mew. He is going to live 1 extreme speed, but he misses his Thunder, and he probably wouldn't have survived. The other poke that Alias had left alive would have killed. So the Lucario is just going to E-Speed the Latios away, and Alias is going to win the battle. And that was an amazing battle. I think the reason Puberty probably lost that is because he kind of got trapped into letting his Politoed die, so Alias had the Sandstorm up, and the Lucario, once the Rotom Wash went down, the Lucario was left to do what it wanted, because, the Latios was paralysed. If he hadn't have paralysed the Mew and had been synchronized, he probably could have done something, but he did miss his Thunder. So there was a bit of hacks in that battle, but nevertheless it was a very good battle. Good game to the both of you, Puberty and Alias, if you watch this. And I've been Clifftongasium, and hopefully I'll see you next time.